So I believe, Deepak, when you have to run a SaaS business or when you are even running any kind of business, you actually always have to have a great co-founder with you. Within a single day, he sold 24 lakh worth of products.
Wow.
Okay, 24 lakhs. Of all the context, of all the marketing that we want to do, of all the things that we want to do, your product has to satisfy everything.
A lot of SaaS companies think that because they are technical, their customers will also be technical.
You can ask me to code Facebook. I could have coded Facebook back in those days.
Hey guys, Deepak here from digitaldeepak.com. And today we have Neeraj, the CEO of Pabbly, on the call today. So hi Neeraj, welcome to the call.
Thank you, Deepak, for inviting me on the conversation, and really thank you for inviting me here. Thank you.
Fantastic. So we have our community here as well, and we will kind of keep this as a open discussion and nothing too technical or nothing too specific. Okay. And for people who don't know, Pabbly is a suite of products, and I am a fan of Pabbly Connect, which is a Zapier alternative. And helps you connect different tools and has a lot of options. In fact, some of the apps not even available in Zapier are now available in Pabbly, I believe. So, Neeraj, let's start with your journey. When did you graduate? Were you in corporate jobs? When did you start your startup? So tell us a little bit more about that and we will go from there.
Yeah. So, Deepak, I come from we call it a tier 2, tier 3 city because I'm right in the center. We come from a place called Bhopal. In Bhopal, we actually have a lot of engineering colleges. So we have about 70 to 80 engineering colleges. And I guess I actually graduated from one of the universities here in Bhopal itself. The great thing about the city is that there is a great engineering culture as well. I started back in 2009 per specific, and we started here with a small training institute. Okay, so I was doing my graduation and we started a small training institute where we started to teach people how to code in PHP. Okay. So back in 2009, you can imagine there was not a huge entrepreneurship culture. There was nothing of those kind of sort of things. So back in 2009, we started a small training institute. And to be honest with you, the whole space that we rented out for that small training institute was less than 250 square feet. So you can imagine that there can be only 30 chairs that can be accommodated in that very small confined space. And being a engineering city with so many colleges, if you remember back in 2009, the Facebook was just starting to happen. Okay. And Facebook back in those days, in fact, it is right now the basic original core of Facebook was written in PHP. Okay. So back in those days, we thought that maybe PHP is something that might actually become a thing of sort where it can become a huge programming language in itself. And every single institute here used to train in .NET and Java at that point of time. So we started a small training institute. We started teaching students on that training institute in PHP. It started with a very small, I remember there was the first class was just one person, one student. The second class was 3 students, but eventually it became, within the next 6 to 8 months, it became to a class of about 30, 40 people who were able to take the classes. So somehow it grew. That was my initial journey. Now, when you start a training center or when you start a program where you are teaching a lot of people coding, you eventually see that a lot of folks out there, they eventually join Infosys, they go to Bangalore, they go to Pune, and that is the sort of thing that happens. So back in those days, I decided that maybe I can get 1 or 2 amazing folks from within the training center and start a small software business. And we started our initial business with a WordPress based themes. If you remember back in 2011, WordPress themes used to be a very lucrative business.
The hot, that was the hot thing at that time.
It was like you just have to create the theme and it used to sell like anything. Okay. So back in those days, it was crazy stuff. We started ink themes back in the days. I don't remember. I don't know how many of the
I think I
audience
have
here.
heard about it. I kind of vaguely remember it.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
So back in 2011, we started ink themes. We are still even supporting the customer right now in 2020. One of the themes that we created in ink themes, we actually went to become #1 theme on WordPress.org, and
Oh,
it remained
wow.
there for
Okay.
about, like what you see right now on Astra and everything. Colorway was one of the themes that we designed back in 2011. It was on the #1 for about 2-3 years, uh, to the point that WordPress.com repository, they actually, because all the themes essentially were GPL license, right? So they essentially took one of our themes. They even named that we are taking the inspiration from the Colorway theme. They launched their own theme by the name of Forever, and they specifically mentioned that they are taking inspiration from Colorway.
Hmm.
So those were the sort of things that started up all my journey. It started from the training center to the software segment, and now it is all software, as you can see. Yeah,
It's all SaaS now.
yeah, it's all SaaS.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fantastic.
that is the
So,
dream.
so how big is your team right now?
So right now we actually have two set of things within our organization. One happens to run the software business. So Magnet Brains is the name of the firm. So Magnet Brains is the name of the company. We actually essentially do two major things. One is into the software segment, and another is into the educational part of it. So like one is software segment and the other is education, and education is something for school kids. Honestly, it is not for all the advanced software folks out there. It is for school kids. So overall our software company has about 60 people in it. uh, Education happens to be about 30-35 people odd. Yeah,
Okay.
so you
Okay.
can see 95 or something. Yeah.
That's a good, inspiring journey, especially coming from a tier two city, because I come from a tier two city. I'm from Salem, Tamil Nadu, and we usually see most of the startups being built by IIT, IM graduates who are born and brought up in tier one cities. So it says powerful software tools to run your business. So I believe that it's a suite of products, right?
It's a suite of products, yes.
So tell us a little bit more about like who is the target customer for Pabbly, and how did you come up with this particular set of products? Which is the best selling product? Let's say here we have digital marketers mostly, and what would be the most useful for digital marketers as well?
So Deepak, in our case, everything started with a whole suite of journey, and depending upon journey, we had to create different products. For
Okay.
example, as I told you earlier, we started with ink themes, which happened to be the WordPress theme store.
Okay.
When we started ink themes, uh, l- essentially a lot of people were creating WordPress websites with the use of with while using ink themes, and when they were creating, I think you have to refresh the page. I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
they were yeah
Yes.
when they were creating websites with the WordPress theme that we were offering, a lot of people used to come to us, and they used to ask us that, is there a possibility that we can have a form that is coming from ink themes itself? Okay, so that we can essentially create a form without even having to go to some other software. And again, everything that I talk about, it is back in 2011, 2012, 2013 era. So not a lot of software out there, not a good piece of software out there. So we started creating, we actually created our first form solution. It was a whole drag and drop experience. People can just drag and drop the fields, then they can just create the form instantly. After creating forms, a lot of people started to ask us for an email marketing platform. So essentially, even though you see them as a bunch of 4 or 5 different products, but collectively they actually enable a normal online business to function. Like a form tool, email marketing tool, those are not the necessities of nowadays business. Okay,
Yes. So
so
does it compete with
yeah.
Typeform?
So Typeform, I believe, is a more of uh, a step-by-step form solution. We are more of I believe we are more of a single-page form solution. We are not necessarily competing with Typeform, but the way we offer is, a lot of people who use our form solution use it for collecting payments, collecting submissions, and all those kind of things. Typeform is more of a multi-page, multi-step form solution.
Got
We
it, got
also offer the very same feature,
it.
but essentially we are more of a single page based form solution. The unique aspect is that when you go to any other platform or any other form solution, you actually have to pay for different features depending upon your upload limits, your submission limits, and all those kind of things. But when you see Pabbly forms, you actually only pay on the basis of number of forms. And essentially all the submission limit, upload limits, and all those things goes away. Okay, so you are not restricted by any specific set of feature that you want to offer in the form. Yeah.
Cool. So you started with the form, and how did the journey go from there? Like, what kind of traction did you get? And I see, like, I think you have 5 major products, as of now.
So after forms, we started this email marketing product. It happened to be inside the bunch of Pabbly suite itself. The email marketing product was one of our most popular product. It is indeed one of the most popular product right now as well.
Okay.
A lot of people even I believe a lot of people send emails on a daily basis using the email marketing platform. We happen to connect with the Amazon SES, and we also offer the sending services from our end as well. So email marketing is something which is quite popular in itself. But to be honest with you, all the products that we offer, we cohesively offer them in a single bundle as well. So rather than having to purchase all the different products individually, you actually get a bunch of suite of product in a single subscription, which I essentially named as Pabbly Plus subscription.
Okay.
And you can actually get access to all the application in a single bundle. Okay, so even the Pabbly Connect platform that we have created right now, it is actually a very great platform for integrating things and sending data from one place to another. It is in fact encompassed within the same Pabbly suite of product as well. And the whole aspect is that we wanted to make the whole thing affordable for just about everyone. So for example, a normal person pays for an email marketing platform that happens to be MailChimp ActiveCampaign, then they pay for their form solution, then they pay for their integration platform, then they pay separately for their billing software. We cohesively combine them into a Pabbly Plus subscription. It comes at a price of just a single product. So you don't even have to pay for 5 different separate products. You can actually cohesively buy a single product, and you can basically run your online business. You can sell things, you can do your email marketing, you can build your forms, you can collect your leads, and then you can even integrate multiple platforms out there.
Got it.
That is how it all comes out together. Yeah.
Fantastic. So now that we got a little bit of an idea about the kind of products that you have and the kind of solutions that you have, tell us a little bit more about the entrepreneurship journey that has led you here, because I'm pretty sure that there are lots of ups and downs in the journey, lots of learnings, especially a lot of challenges you would have faced while building the team. Do you work with a co-founder? Enlighten us about that.
So I believe, Deepak, I believe when you have to run a SaaS business, or when you are even running any kind of business, you actually always have to have a great co-founder with you. Okay. In my context, I actually have a co-founder. My real brother is Pankaj Agrawal. He happens to be the co-founder. And honestly, he's one of my mentor as well. Okay. So somehow he knows a lot of things, honestly. He's not on the call here. Otherwise, you might have we might have got a chance to interact with him as well. So he's one of my co-founder. He handles all the training sections for the project, because when you essentially want to build any kind of person, you always want to have access to some of the best team person out there. Okay. And I honestly see that a lot of people who want to start their journey for building software products or just about any kind of company, they always need to have the access to some of the amazing folks to build the company along with them. And Pankaj actually fits in a very right position within our organization, where he's able to train some of the best minds, and he's able to bring them on board Pabbly. So from that front onwards, I do not even have to worry about anything. I just tell him that, Pankaj, I need someone who can do this thing. And somehow he always have that peculiar thing where he can actually get the very same person onboarded in the team. So
that's a very interesting point. Sorry to interrupt. But even right now we are a team of 15, and almost like 12, 13 people have come from our own training funnel, from our own students group, and you have the option to pick out the best,
Yes, yes,
and
yes.
I think not every company has that advantage unless they have a training or an education wing.
So everyone who is watching this webinar, this is
Yes.
a very good advice. I have actually talked to multiple people, Deepak, on this specific thing. Everyone who runs a very successful business, they always have some sort of training institution or some sort of training department within their organization. And if your training is excellent, and if you are able to hire really, really great people, because Deepak, this happens a lot of times. Some of my friends call me up, or some other person calls me up. They ask me that, Neeraj, I have been trying to find some really good candidates on Naukri.com. Okay. And I have been putting out all sort of ads on different classified site, but I'm not able to get or gather the best people possible. If you run a training institute, you will always have access to great people. Okay.
Yes,
And,
yes.
and so,
And you're also making money from training, right? So it's like you are getting paid to, get good people inside your team. Like when you have an education, not just a training wing, but actually an education business,
yeah.
then you are like basically spoiled for choice. You can like have like the top 1% is something that you can hire.
Absolutely. In our case, Deepak, we do not take any charges for training.
Oh, okay.
We used to take charges when we started back in 2009.
Okay.
But after about 2012, we just stopped the paid section of the training program altogether, because we realized that we were able to fund based on the earning that we were able to do from the software segment.
Software.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So that was one of the reasons that we were able to mitigate that cost. But otherwise, I don't think people have any issues in paying until and unless they are getting quality and value for something. And I think good quality and good value definitely comes at a price. So people are okay. And I think that is really fine as well.
Yes, yes. Makes sense. So, as you are like building the organization, how is the team structured? Like, do you have like a marketing team, a product development team? How does like a SaaS business function? Because
So,
I have worked in SaaS companies, but
mhm.
I have not run a SaaS company myself. And a lot of people here might want to start SaaS companies in the future. So, how do you even like, try to come up with an MVP? How do you get the initial customers? Because once you get the engine running, speeding it up is not that difficult, but it's very difficult to get the entire engine running. So tell us a little bit more about that.
So I think because I have done and I have created multiple products, I have learned a lot of things on different fronts, honestly. Okay. For example, when we were building our initial SaaS product, and I won't say Pabbly Forms because now we actually have a lot of customers on Pabbly Forms. So a lot of customers will say, Neeraj, how come you are saying this on a open webinar? But back in those days, even our principles of building a product were not very clear. And that is something that happens when you are starting for the first time. So for example, back in those days, our first SaaS product, it actually had buttons. So every SaaS has buttons in it, right? And I'm just talking about the very basic element of something. Okay. And you will just understand what I'm trying to say. Okay. Just give me a moment.
Yeah, sure.
So for example, you're building a form solution always have a button. Okay. Imagine creating 10 different buttons on 10 different pages of your SaaS application. Okay. When we initially designed something, we thought that this button looks good on this page, then this button looks good on some other page, and then this button looks good on the third page. We used to design application haphazardly. I believe over time we learned that we have to create a sort of systematic bootstrap kind of thing, like a framework where you can design things based on a very similar framework itself. I think I might have confused a bit, but over time it will get clear as I go along. One of the things that I have learned is that if you're trying to build product, you actually have to have a great product manager who can analyze different products out there. Okay. For example, when we were building Pabbly Connect, okay, we actually have a very great product manager who goes into every single integration product out there. We just try to figure out small things which are not possible inside the different integration platforms. Okay. And then we try to build the platforms based on the limitations of the other platforms. For example, I will just give you an example. And even though I'm not trying to demean any specific solution out there, but I will just give you an example. we were building our schedule module inside Pabbly Connect. So schedule is something when you want a schedule is a type of trigger when you want an event to be run on any specific schedule. For example, every hour, every 2 hour, every 3 hour. Okay. So we went inside Zapier. Okay. We found out that Zapier actually had uh, a schedule trigger which can only run every 1 hour. Okay, so it can only run 1 hour. We thought that maybe we can create a trigger for a schedule trigger which can possibly run every 10 minutes. Okay. Then we realized Zapier started in 2011 and they were all focused on polling an external software to get some data. We realized it is 2020. Nowadays, people don't want a data that is inserted into Google Sheet from an external software every 5 minutes. They want everything in real time and instant. So our 90% of our product, 90 or 95% of our product is all webhooks based. I'm not sure all the technical term I'm speaking out here might be confusing or not, but
I think people definitely understand webhooks. I have taught people about webhooks, so at least my students here should understand what is a webhook. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, when you're building a product, the product manager has to be excellent. He should be able to go inside different products. He should be able to figure out the weaknesses, the strengths of different products, and figure out what all strengths uh, can be there from your perspective. For example, Deepak, as I told earlier, we come from a training background. We have been training people aggressively. So, and one of our entire department is into trainings. Okay. So what we figured out is that training is something which is one of our major strengths. So when we started and created this integration platform, the first thing that we did was to create 500 to more than 500 plus tutorial videos for every single aspect of the software. Okay. So if you want to learn how to send a Facebook lead data from how to capture a Facebook lead data from Facebook and send it on your WhatsApp number, you will actually find a video on our YouTube channel explaining the very same use case. So we have more than 500 plus videos in the library.
I think customer education and customer onboarding, that's like very important part that a lot of SaaS companies do not focus on. They kind of have it like in a haphazard way, where if you reach out to support, maybe somebody will help you. But a lot of SaaS companies think that because they are technical, their customers will also be technical, but they don't take the effort to create those tutorial videos and things like that.
Actually, yes, you're right. You know what? Even I have hard time explaining people what is webhooks right now. Okay. And it takes a certain level of determination in teaching itself and that is where people like you come in, right? I think you are doing a fantastic job because I have seen your video tutorials on Zapier and everything on YouTube. Okay. And I think that is something that is very much required because people don't even know, or the normal or general audience, they don't even know what is polling, what is webhook, why should we prefer webhooks over polling, and what are the advantages of webhook. Even though the webhook part is, I say that it is 1.2x harder than polling to integrate, but once you integrate with webhook, it is one of the best thing to do because it is all real time. Okay, so I always say that it is by the factor of 1.2x it is harder, but by the real time context, because every data you are getting in real time, it becomes very, very useful. So Deepak, I think product manager has to be very, very great, who can analyze different things. Based on that, your team has to be very strong. And in our case, because we have been from the coding background, we have been training students. Products like Pabbly Connect or any product where integration thing has to happen between 500 different platforms. Okay, we actually have 500 plus integrations already. Getting data from 500 plus platform, trying to integrate them all together needs a team which can actually build a product which can cohesively bind all the 500 applications together. So that happens. Yeah.
Fantastic. So if you have noticed, I'm like following a path here. We started with your journey. How did you get started? How did the idea come along? So you started with WordPress themes, and then the idea for the forms came along. So you have kind of naturally understood what is the need. So obviously that comes first. for any SaaS company that there should be an actual need in the market. And as you said, the product manager has found out what are the gaps in the market. So you just find out what are the gaps and you just fill it. You don't need to
Yes.
invent any new demand.
Yes.
So now that you have, and I believe that you have bootstrapped the entire company without any external investors until now.
Yes. We have bootstrapped everything.
Hmm.
So interestingly, a lot of people ask me that how do you earn the revenue to fund all the different products that you run? We are very much profitable. We actually have a healthy MRR coming from all the products out there. And that is the way that we have funded the company right now. It is all bootstrapped. It is working fine. And that is how it goes.
Yes.
The initial money actually in the starting days in 2011, when we started the WordPress theme company, I remember I created my first WordPress theme, which happened to be Colorway. Deepak, and this is a real story, okay? So you can just understand. So I think you have been a startup and grown up from a very basic level yourself, so you can understand all the hardships that initially happens. So when I started this WordPress theme company back in 2011, we created this first WordPress theme, Colorway. And for the first 8 months, okay, I remember I created and launched that WordPress theme back in July or something. Okay. For the first 8 months, I didn't sell a single copy. And this is really, really a honest story. I didn't sell a single copy. But somehow, after 7 to 8 months, we started to sell about 1, 2, 3 copies every month, actually. Okay. Not every day, every month. I remember I actually got connected with one of the marketing folks. His name was Zerom. So he was, I believe he was French. He actually saw the WordPress theme that I have created back in those days. He messaged me on, I remember, where did he message? He messaged me somewhere. I don't remember the place,
Okay.
but he told me that, Neeraj, I saw your themes. They look good. How they are selling. So what should I say? I said, I don't know. It's not selling very, very nice, honestly. So he told me that, Neeraj, I will take 70 to 75% commission from you. I will give you just the 25% commission from all the themes that you are building, and I can sell these themes for you. Okay.
Okay.
And I said, okay, because I didn't had any other way to earn money at that point of time.
And it's a
So
digital product, so might as well give that cut to him.
yeah, either way, even if my margin would be very, very slight percentage, I would have said yes, because I was not earning a single dime. Okay. It was very hard at that time. So I remember that person actually helped me out. And within a single day, he actually had an email list back in those days. And I was not even aware that email list is something that you have to build. Okay. And he sort of sent an email. He had about 6,000, 7,000 subscribers. He sent an email, and within a single day he sold 24 lakh worth of products.
Wow.
Okay, 24 lakhs. And I was like, this is the very same business, this is the very same product I have been trying to sell, and I hardly sell a single product in a single month, and this guy sells 24 lakh worth of product in a single day. Okay. And he gives me a cut of 30%. I don't remember what was the exact amount that I received. It was about 4, 5, 6 lakhs. I don't remember. Whatever is 30% of 24 lakh, I received it. Uh, and that is how the journey started. And until that day, Deepak, I used to be a very, very good coder. You can ask me to code Facebook. I could have coded Facebook back in those days. But
Awesome.
after 2011, after December, I never ever coded a single line, because I realized you actually have to do marketing. You actually have to be actively selling the products. And after 2011, all I did is I read marketing books. I implemented different strategies, even selling MRR. I did a lot of those things based on defining on SEO and all those principles out there. But marketing is everything that I did after 2012, and that is how it started. Yeah.
Fantastic. Got it. So what is the marketing strategy right now? What is the go-to-market strategy? Do you invest in ads? You have been doing some deals like lifetime deals. So tell us a little bit more about that. So now we have like covered like product market fit, product development. So once you have the product with a good product market fit, it is time to scale. So what has worked in the recent years very well?
Yeah. So, Deepak, what essentially worked with Pabbly is that first of all, our offer is very unique. Okay.
Mhm.
So even if you have to sell something, your offer has to be unique. Uh,
Mm,
in our case, in our context, we actually offer multiple products that are used by just about every person out there, and we
mm,
offer them in a single bundle.
mm,
Okay.
mm,
The good market go-to strategy is that when we started Pabbly Connect, and this actually happened just about a year back, and we launched Pabbly Connect a year back. Uh, what I have realized is you should always do a one-time launch or with a one-time product pricing in the initial 1 or 2 years.
mm,
Okay, and the reason you should do one or even though a lot of people say that SaaS cannot survive on MRR, but you also need to have product evangelist in the initial days. Okay, and if
true.
you don't even have the product evangelist, I remember there's a platform, I won't say a name, because what I see is the very same founder, he keeps on going to different forums and he tells everyone that my product is the best product out there. Okay,
Mm,
you should never be in the situation where you are the only founder who is speaking that your product is great in all the forums out there.
mm,
Okay,
mm,
you always have to have product evangelists who are speaking on your behalf everywhere.
mm,
Okay, so even with the Pabbly Connect, which a sort of was a new product in our ecosystem, uh, we offered a one time pricing for a Zapier competing product. So when
mm,
people see it, another thing is when we build a product, we never compromise on the quality.
mm,
Okay, so the
mm.
quality has to be excellent. Otherwise, even if you are selling something on one time pricing, it won't work. Okay,
Yes, absolutely.
so
Mm,
because it is just one time, you don't even have to think that you can just do whatever you want. You actually have to create a product which is very quality, which is high quality. It should work fine and it should work for all the evangelists out there. Okay, because if the product is bad, all the evangelists will start to say that this is the worst product that I have found. And now you have sold to 1,000 different people. Now 1,000 evangelists out there will say the very same thing, that this is the worst product that I have tried in my life.
mm.
Okay,
That's true.
so
So your failure gets compounded instead of success getting compounded.
actually, I think
Mm.
compounding is the very right word. Instead of your success getting compounded, your failure will get compounded.
I have been there, done that. I first learned how to market really well, how to write sales pages, copy, email, ads, and everything. But my product was not good.
Okay.
2017, when I launched my courses, I just created courses so that I can have a product to sell, not because it's like a great product. So
Mhm.
2020 is when I completely recreated the product, and now I don't need to do so much marketing as much as I used to do because it sells itself.
It sells itself.
Yes.
I, so, for example, we everyone here in India, they are crazy towards that Tesla is going to bring a car in India.
Mm.
Okay, it's a great product. People are going to buy it anyways, right? If they can afford it, they will buy it. Okay, if they
Of
can't
course,
afford it,
I'm waiting for Tesla, in fact.
so
Mm,
yeah, so I think of all the context of all the marketing that we want to do, if of all the things that we want to do, your product has to satisfy everything. If your product is bad, or if your product is not working, if it is not reliable, you will be the only evangelist for your product and it won't be successful.
that,
Okay.
that's so
A-
true. The only evangelist. Mm,
and I think and I think we do not want to be in that situation where we want to be the only evangelist for our product.
mm,
So I think the go to market strategy now is, in our case, it is very simple. Honestly, we do a lot of content marketing, we do a lot of tutorial videos,
mm,
we get daily leads from the tutorial videos and from all the content marketing that we do.
mm,
Okay,
mm,
the lead comes there from their own. Somehow they sign up to our products. They eventually subscribe or do a trial for our product. When they do a trial, one of our team members somehow sends them an email asking them if they have any issues, and somehow the funnel starts to happen.
mm, mm,
uh, the good thing is, one more thing I have realized nowadays is that Pabbly Connect in itself has become one of our initial ladder of getting people into our sequence.
mm,
So when people start with Pabbly Connect, they find the usage, they start to use it. Over time, they connect with our support staff or someone like that. They realize the value that we offer in our whole suite of products, and slowly it happens, not very aggressively, but slowly it happens that they eventually come into the funnel, and they eventually buy the Pabbly Plus subscription. So that is the simple business model. You don't even have to complicate anything.
Yes. Yes.
I believe that simple things bring quite a success.
Yeah. Simple things scale, complex things don't. And a lot of people, when they try to scale things, right? It's like 10 different products, 20 different products. That's how they try to scale. But if you can have like one great product, that's what I have started doing. I'm like one campaign, one lead magnet, one product. That's it. That's what I have been trying to do. And
Deepak, we started this YouTube channel, and I'm talking about the teaching aspect of it. It is just 1.5 year. The YouTube channel has more than 1.8 million subscribers.
Fantastic.
And the very same YouTube channel, I am not talking about the software aspect. I'm talking about the educational aspect.
Education one.
It has 32 million visitors or 32 million viewers this month. Okay. The only thing that we focused on just pushing quality videos on YouTube. We never, a lot of students told us that you should create a mobile app. We don't have a mobile app. We don't even have anything. Okay. Just focus on one key value metrics and just do it aggressively. That's it.
Yes.
just don't worry about anything. So even in my context, I have, so as your hair starts to get gray, you learn the very same thing. You have to keep things simple things scale.
Yes, absolutely. So one more thing that I wanted to ask is about design. And I have an eye for design, and I'm still getting around to having great design in my products. So how did you get around to, either you got like lucky and had like a great designer, or it was a very intentional decision that, hey, design needs to be kick-ass. So overall website, the way you have created the landing page. If I go to Pabbly Connect, I see like all these apps moving around. I would say that the design is way better than an international competitor, like let's say Zapier. So tell me a little bit about your design thinking, the approach.
So because I come from a WordPress theme background, okay, and in WordPress theme background, you always have to design things, okay. You always learn a certain aspect of things, okay. To be honest with you, when I started the WordPress theme company, even before I started inkthemes.com, I actually tried to submit some of my WordPress theme designs to ThemeForest. Okay. And back in those days, ThemeForest used to have very, very good designers who used to review your designs. Okay. And they used to send feedbacks, just like you send your assignments to teacher and they evaluate your copy and then they give you numbers. Similar to those pattern, you used to send designs to ThemeForest. They used to disapprove 99% of the time. But when they used to disapprove those designs, they used to give some fundamental things that these are the design thinking that you are lacking in your design.
Got it.
Okay.
Interesting.
So one of the key aspects that they used to tell us was go to Dribbble, spend your entire day. I don't know. Have you heard about Dribbble?
Yeah. I've heard about it.
Okay,
I think the recent new morphism and all those kind of originated on Dribbble, like, something in between flat design and and skew morphism, where Apple started. So I have a little bit of an idea about it, not much.
So they used to tell us that hey, we won't be able to give you very detailed feedback, but we would highly recommend you to go to Dribbble and check it out. Okay. And I used to spend like hours on Dribbble. So when you spend time on Dribbble and platforms like that, you understand what are the horizontal alignments, what are the vertical alignments, then things need to be aligned in a certain grids and systems. And once you have that thing in mindset or in principle, you can basically design any kind of design and it will look good. Okay. So the good thing about understanding the principle is, if I come to you, Deepak, I tell you that, Deepak, always remember this 10 key principles, your design will always be good. Okay. And I think those are the kind of things that happens. I learned my designing from there, but I also have some of the good designers in my team itself. Okay. Because I am not the one who do the designs. And as you told earlier, I actually was lucky to get them. Yeah.
Yes. Makes sense. So one more thing I wanted to ask, like, what is the backend that is powering Pabbly? Like, do you just get Amazon servers or something like that in the backend? Because there is a lot of these integrations and all these happenings. It has to, like, have a very good uptime, especially when people are trusting you with the integrations. Imagine if people are running paid campaigns, integrating it with their landing page and CRM. You cannot afford to have any downtimes. So
Absolutely.
how do you manage that?
So in our case, uh, I have worked a lot on server administration as well. Uh,
Okay.
so personally speaking, everything that we have done is hosted on Amazon AWS itself.
Mm.
But even a good server admin, even a bad server admin, I should say, even a bad server admin can ruin AWS in a very smart way. Okay, they
Okay.
can. So
Mm.
I believe you have to have a certain knowledge of server administration.
Mm.
This is very important if you're building a SaaS application that fuels thousands of people out there.
Mm.
Uh, and we happen to do a lot of integration and send data across every single minute.
Mm.
So I believe I learned a lot of things. For example, just a basic aspect of it. A lot of people, when they initially build their website, every website has a database, right? So usually what they do is their files, which are a dynamic file, they rest in the very same server.
Mm.
There is static file, which do not change. They also reside in the very same server.
Mm.
And then their database is always dynamic because all the new data is being written to the database all the time.
Mm.
They are in the very same database. They are on the very same server as well.
Mm.
So you have three different components. You have files, which are dynamic. You have static files, and you have your database. All three things inside the very same server. Okay. And
Mm.
this is the biggest blunder that a lot of people make.
Okay.
When
Mm.
you're building your platform, you always have to have your database system which is independent from the main core server. So
Mm.
your database should be independent. All the uploads that are happening, the file uploads that are happening, they should be always be independent from your existing server.
Mm.
Okay, so just try to imagine your server has just a static file remaining in it, because all your dynamic file, they will go to a different system altogether, like a Amazon S3 bucket. So
Mm.
S3 bucket holds your dynamic files. Database is held by Amazon RDS, and only your static files are into your main server.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm.
Now, since your static files are in your main server, which are processing, and essentially they are a bunch of PHP files or Python files or whatever it is, you can basically replicate this server depending upon the processing power that you need.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm.
When you want to replicate your server, you actually have to create an image. Okay. Image can be created if the files are static, but if the files are ever changing,
Mm.
images, you can't create a one image and you can say your server that I want this image to be replicated whenever my resources go to less than uh, more than 80% resources are used. Just replicate a new server from the very same image.
Mm.
Okay.
Mm.
I don't know, I'm talking too much techie or not.
I mean,
When
it's okay because I think at some point we need to hear all this, right? And maybe in the later date it will connect. But I think I get it. Like, you are talking about scalable
sometimes
servers.
when I speak
Yeah.
those sort of things, people start to get confused, and then I have to go back.
Mm.
But essentially, in our case, what we have done is our database server is different.
Mm.
Our dynamic file, whatever user is uploading, is on a different system altogether.
Mm.
And all the static files are on a different server altogether, which happens to be EC2 server.
Got it.
If you have a lot of more engagement on your platform, you can scale the very same EC2 instance, and you
Mm.
can duplicate the instance.
Mm.
Okay, and
Mm.
then you can do a load balancing and all those kind of things.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Interesting. Cool. So I think we have covered a lot. I think it was a little bit of a different interview than what we usually do. We always talk about Facebook ads, Google ads, landing pages, marketing. Here we are talking SaaS and software. So one final thing before we wind up for today. What are the future plans? Where do you see yourself 5 years, 10 years down the line, now that you have, come this far and, like it's a mixed feeling, right? On one side you have a sense of satisfaction that, hey, I've come this far, I have achieved it, but you definitely cannot rest there, and
So
you see people who are like way ahead of you, and then there is a new kind of tension that is created. It's a weird position to be in, where you are like
So
about to
Deepak,
become a successful entrepreneur, but you are not yet there.
Deepak, I think nowadays you can't compare yourself to anybody. I was talking to I'm about 31-year-old. Okay, I'm not very old, honestly. That is something that I think. I'm 31.
Oh, now I feel older. Now I am
No, no,
33.
no. You won't. You are not going to feel older. You are going to feel older once I tell you this. Okay.
Okay.
I was actually talking to a person,
Mm.
and he was a founder of one of the platform, and he was talking to me, and he was talking about, Neeraj, I'm about to pick a $3-4 million funding from Sequoia or something like that.
Mm.
And he was very, very enthusiastic and everything. And this conversation actually happened just 1 week back with a founder. I
Mm.
asked him what age you are in right now. He told me 20.
Okay.
A 20-year-old guy is starting to get looking for a $4-5 million funding.
Mhm.
And he actually had an exceptional product at his end. Okay.
Mm.
Uh, so I think nowadays you can't
Can't
compare
compare.
yourself to
Yes.
anyone. Okay.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
So I have stopped to do that. There will be people who will be very, very far ahead of you. There will be people who will be behind yourself. I think all you can do is you just can compete with yourself, and that is something that you have to do. Okay, that is
100%. That's
something
an
that I have.
excellent advice. Just be better than your previous self.
Yes,
Mm.
because nowadays it is not worthwhile to compare yourself with someone, because 20-year-old guys doing amazing things already. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
uh so where were we? I actually
Yeah.
forgot the
Yeah.
whole.
Like where do you see yourself 5 years,
Yeah.
10 years down the
so
line?
so
Bigger goals.
Deepak, in my context, I have decided that I actually want, because we have a bunch of product, I actually want at least one of our products to actually reach a very, very successful height, to the
Mm.
level it should be used by just about all the, like what we see Zapier right now.
Mm.
I
Mm.
at least want one of my products to reach that level of
Mm.
height.
Mm. Mm.
And I think we are putting a lot of energy into Pabli Connect in
Mm.
trying to take it to the very same height possible.
Mm. Mm.
Okay. And this is something that I really want. And uh, so what I do all day is I just keep on comparing things. I just see how I can make the same system better than everyone else, what all things I can add, what
Mm.
all things I can remove, how
Mm.
can I keep things simple while trying to make one of the best platforms out there. That
Mm.
is my sole job right now.
Got it.
uh,
Mm.
from money perspective, I think you only need so much, right?
Yes.
So once you
Absolutely.
have so once you have so much, and coming from a tier 2 tier 3 city, you can yeah, I'm already living a king's life, to be honest.
Mm.
Okay. We call here in Bhopal that we actually park our car inside our house. I remember I was watching one of the funniest guys who actually had this quote that we park cars in our home inside.
Mm.
so
Mm.
so yeah. So
Yes.
I believe I actually want one of my products to reach that
Mm.
level of height. We are trying and putting a lot of dedication into it, and let's see how it happens. But that is one of our goal.
Yes, yes. What you said is so true. Today, so many people are just madly driven by just trying to make more money. But eventually, if you are like healthy and if you have like good vision, you can walk around, you can speak and communicate. You are like already infinitely wealthy, because when you even look at, like, I don't know if you have read this book called *Sapiens*, and the next book after *Sapiens*. It just talks about how pandemics have wiped out 20% of the population, 25% of the population every time it happened in 15th century, 16th century. And
Yeah,
today
yeah,
we
yeah.
are like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, like we take it so seriously, but it's hardly anything, right? Hardly
Mm-hmm.
less than 1% people are getting affected. Not to like demean that people that go
money
through, but
money money certainly gives you a level of freedom. So
yes.
so because we have a lot of 18-year-old here as well, because I
Mm.
am seeing the comments in the real time as well, I think money gives you a certain level of freedom. So I will highly recommend that uh, you reach a certain level that Deepak had already reached, or you should actually at least try to be on that level. At least try to be your best yourself. try to become and try to reach the position where money independence is there. But once you have that money independence, you can actually start to do a lot of amazing things from your end. And whatever you do, because see, Deepak, when I talk to people out there, a lot of young people are also there. So I always advise them that as a nation also, we also have to make sure that our country progresses on a greater front. Okay.
Absolutely.
So from that perspective as well, I will highly recommend that everyone should start at least one thing, whatever they can. And it doesn't necessarily have to be into the software segment itself. A lot of people are doing different things in different amazing things in financial sector. Someone is doing something in even in agri-tech, ed tech. There are so many industries in which a lot of people are doing a lot of amazing things. So I believe those are the type of things that you should be doing, and let progress the nation as well.
Absolutely. And when we say freedom, it's also like a thing where, like, if you have heard Naval Ravikant's podcast, like you can like set up the lifestyle in such a way that you have the freedom. Like for me, when I tried to get out of jobs, my goal was that I need 50,000 a month to live a simple lifestyle. And if you can accumulate enough money where you will be able to live at 50,000 a month, then you already have the freedom. Like if you have, let's say, 12 lakhs, it's basically 2 years of freedom. But however, if your cost of living is high, if you want to live in a city, if you want fancy restaurants, if you want vacations, and if your cost of living is like 1 lakh, you are basically enslaving yourself, at least to start with. And then people are like stuck in jobs, they can never get out of it, and then they have EMIs and so much burden that they can never have the freedom to come out and follow their passion and try to do something from scratch. Like I have always been able to start something from scratch because I had free time. I kept quitting jobs, and I was bold enough to say that, hey, I'm not going to buy a house. I'm not going to buy a costly car on EMI. Just basic, simple car is enough.
Deepak, the job that you are doing right now, it is really, really fantastic.
Thank you.
And see, this is not something that I'm just telling you because I have to please you or something. Okay. This is something that I have seen from the personal level. Okay. You send the emails, you tell people that you can become self-entrepreneurs, and people join your internship program, people join your different programs out there. And I think the level of things that you have done for different people, and the reason I know it, because I also am connected with a lot of technical professionals. I remember our teammate within my office, he tells me that he was doing internship with you. Now, first of all, tell me how come my guy is doing internship with you?
It's just, I think the reach has gone to that level.
So, and this is true actually. So I asked him, did Deepak contacted you? So he said, did Deepak contact you? He said, no, I joined him myself. So I said, okay, then it's fine.
Nice.
No, but still, that is the level of thing that you're doing. And I think for younger people, you have been an inspiration based on that fact.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. So life has not been very easy for me. It has been like one major roller coaster ride. I think I will probably write a book about it someday. It's almost cinematic. You can make a movie out of it.
I actually bought your book. I have your book. I bought it like 6-8 months back.
Yeah. So that's Edge of Sanity just on the business level. If you look at the Edge of Sanity on my personal level, I think it also kind of, makes you like, humble and down to earth. And, definitely whatever you go through in personal life can also impact in your business. For me, irrespective of whatever I earn from my business, the fact that it kept my mind occupied in the most difficult times is more than enough. Okay. And humans are like bored, and we end up doing dangerous things, right? We unnecessarily put ourselves into trouble. And if you can just bury your head in some work and some entrepreneurial challenge, it's going to keep you out of trouble in a lot of aspects. And for that, entrepreneurship is more than enough, whether it makes you money or not. That itself is great.
I think you can start to tell a different aspect altogether. If you don't want to be in trouble, you should start entrepreneurship.
Yeah. Because that itself will be like, so much trouble, customers, complaints. I mean, like now, once in a while, there will be like a painful customer
you will always be in trouble, so you will not feel any other troubles.
Yes. And this is like a healthy trouble, right? I mean, you are like having products, having customers. Okay, a customer is pissed, some product is breaking. It's a very healthy trouble to have to keep your mind occupied. Otherwise, you are like, he said that, she said that, all that will be like even difficult. It's difficult to live with humans. Like, come on. So yeah,
so I
Muhammad is
think
saying,
that is very accurate.
I think somebody put some Wikipedia or something,
Oh my God.
and I think there are like people like following celebrity or like
That's why
online
that's why you
gangs and
shouldn't be
everything.
too much popular in the
Yeah.
industry.
So there is like a wiki page on me, and like I was like, dude, I never put all this information in a single place. This like person was probably following me on Facebook or dug into my Facebook post history or anything, and he's like, age, favorite car, favorite city, vacation. I mean, like, dude, where did you get all this
Oh
information?
my God. So this looks like someone did extensive research on you. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have, you should be careful. Okay.
Yeah. Cool. So I think we should definitely look at some kind of partnership where we can give your Pabbly Connect and other kind of deals exclusive to our audience. We will definitely work with Neeraj. Try to bring in some exclusive deals for our audience. And I hope you liked this particular conversation. I totally enjoyed it, and thanks a lot, Neeraj, for your time.
Yeah.
And let this be the beginning of a long partnership, and let's see how we can collaborate
Thank you.
together.
Yeah. Thank you, Deepak, and thanks a lot for inviting me. And
A lot of valuable golden nuggets here and there. Apart from certain times where you let us get confused. Okay, what is he talking about? But that's a good thing. It kind
Yeah.
of creates curiosity, and probably learn more from that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Really,
So
really thank you for inviting me, and it's a great call, Deepak.
thank you, and all the best.